If you check your time with ours, it's exactly 8 o'clock Central African time, and this is a live broadcast of the main news. Good evening, wherever you're watching us from tonight. I'm Vicky Maponga, and Susan Masona is at the sign language desk.
And I'm Justin Matlatla. Later on, we'll be joined by Phelekezela Mamposa from our Montrose studios in Bulawayo. But for now, let's take a look at our leading stories.
President Emmerson Mnangagwa says continued investments in Zimbabwe are an indication of confidence in the Second Republic's policies.
And in business, Zimbabweans assured the 2025 national budget will immensely benefit workers and business.
We'll look at sport later on. Zimbabwe's Gems make history after defeating Uganda 50-49 at the African Championships in Namibia. Those are the stories that we are leading with tonight, and we get straight into our first report. President Emmerson Mnangagwa says the increasing number of investments in the country is a reflection of confidence in the robust measures being put in place by the Second Republic in order to attract more businesses. We get our first report tonight from Josephine Mugio.
President Emmerson Mnangagwa this Monday officially commissioned the Varun Beverages Plant 6 and 7, and this will see the company now producing more volumes of bottled water. The event also saw the laying of a foundation stone which will pave way for the company to now produce snacks, not just for the local market, but also for export. Having entered the Zimbabwean market in 2018 through an investment of $30 million United States dollars, the company, which produces carbonated drinks and water, has continued to grow its investment over the years, hence the commissioning of new production lines by President Mnangagwa. The new lines will see production of water increasing from 80 million bottles to 100 million per month. President Mnangagwa highlighted how the increased business capacity and coming in of more players signifies the confidence the outside world has on the business policies put in place by his administration.
The increasing number of investments in our economy is a show of confidence in the robust measures implemented by my administration. This continues to create an enabling business environment, making Zimbabwe a more lucrative place to do business in the region. Our concerted efforts are bearing fruits, with the World Bank acknowledging Zimbabwe as one of the top global improvers.
Synergy between the government and private sector is key in the growth of any economy, and in Zimbabwe's case, President Mnangagwa recognizes the important role the private sector is playing in fostering business.
I applaud the critical role that the private sector is playing in growing the industrial sector and fostering a real structural transformation towards an investment-driven economy. Since 2018, Varun Beverages has demonstrated a consistent determination to be a leader in the modernization of the manufacturing sector, particularly in the beverages subsector.
From water and carbonated drinks, the manufacturer is now venturing into snack production.
I'm also pleased to announce the laying of the foundation stone for the snacks business, which is expected to generate direct and indirect employment for approximately another 1,000 to 1,200 families. Your plans to expand your business to include the production of dairy and juices products by end of 2025 are also commendable.
Meanwhile, President Mnangagwa also handed over vending cards to the company's vendors. President Mnangagwa also appealed to business entities to also consider investing in the country's provinces as well as rural areas to ensure the rural communities are not left behind in terms of development. Josephine Mudio, ZBC News, Harare.
In a related report, Zimbabwe continues to register significant growth in the manufacturing sector as a result of government support and investments in machinery and equipment. Our business editor, Stanley James, gives us that report.
Official statistics seen by the ZBC News shows that confidence in the manufacturing sector is on an upward trajectory as capacity utilization is expected to recover from 52.1% this year to over 55% in 2025. The growth is expected to be driven by government support, improved power supplies, and increased agriculture output, which will stimulate food processors, including the beverages and drinks subsectors of the economy.
We have not found any problem. Wherever there were challenges, the government has supported us, the people of Zimbabwe have supported us, and we have managed to do well. And we are still continuing to invest, and hopefully again next year.
As more manufacturing firms roll out new machinery and equipment projects, upgrade technology systems leading to an over 80% local product availability, hopes are high that more investors will be coming to start businesses in Zimbabwe.
We are expecting the wholesale and resale sector to grow by an average of around 5%, and this actually can be achievable if the supply chain is stable, if prices are stable, and also the product is actually adequately available.
A retooling fund facility, stable macroeconomic climate, willing buyer and seller foreign exchange market, ease of doing business reforms are being cited by government as indicators of measures to boost manufacturing production.
The foodstuffs, drinks, beverages and tobacco, metals and metal products, and non-metallic mineral product subsectors are projected to contribute significantly to the growth in the manufacturing sector in 2025, all underpinned by a stable macroeconomic environment.
The growth in the manufacturing sector is also expected to ease the import bill for groceries and save foreign currency. Stanley James, ZBC News, Harare.
The chairperson of the Southern African Development Community SADC, President Emmerson Mnangagwa, will this Friday join President Duma Boko of Botswana in touring the SADC Secretariat headquarters in Gaborone. We get more details from our chief correspondent, Robin Barwe.
The Southern Africa Development Community SADC's origins were in 1980 when the Southern Africa Development Coordination Conference, SADC with a double C, was born in August in Lusaka, Zambia. It transformed into the Development Community in 1992 in Windhoek, Namibia, and is starting with a gross domestic product of just $60 billion per year. Now it stands at almost $500 billion United States dollars. It has become a ritual that the chairman of the Southern Africa Development Community during his or her term visits the headquarters in Gaborone, Botswana for a briefing, and this Friday the chairman, President Emmerson Mnangagwa, is expected at the headquarters according to the Zimbabwean ambassador to Botswana, Batiraishe Henry Mukono Eshuro.
This shows us that the relations within SADC are quite brotherly or sisterly, as you may want to take them, but it also shows that it is customary for the chairperson of SADC to visit the headquarters of SADC during their tenure, and this is what His Excellency the President is going to do on Friday the 13th of this month. What's going to happen is the first program is the familiarization tour, where you will meet with his SADC secretariat staff and you will get an appraisal of what SADC does on a day-to-day basis in driving the regional agenda of integration, and especially after our assumption of the chairmanship in Harare in August, we are going to push the theme of innovation because that is key to the implementation of industrialization, agro-processing, and mineral beneficiation.
Remember, Zimbabwe provided the first and second SADC executive secretaries, that is, the late Arthur Bloomeris and Simba Makoni. Then came Kaire Mbwende of Namibia, Pregaran Sam of Mauritius, Stegomena Lawrence Tax of Tanzania, and now Elias Mahosi of Botswana.
Behind me is the SADC secretariat. This is the place where 16 nations reposit all their hopes for regional integration and development. The major thrust is industrialization for the benefit of the over 200 million citizens of this region. Many people are expected to come to see the Zimbabwean leader on an official tour of duty. Ruben Barwe, ZBC News, Gaborone, Botswana.
The Vice President, General Retired Dr. Constantino Chiwenga and family have joined the President, Comrade Dr. Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, the people of Matabeleland North Province and the nation at large in expressing deepest condolences to the Mphoko family following the passing on of former Vice President Phelekezela Mphoko in India on Friday, 6 December 2024. In a statement, the Vice President said former Vice President Phelekezela Mphoko, whose nom de guerre was Comrade Report, became actively involved in the country's liberation movement at a tender age in the 1960s and was one of the first youths to be dispatched for military training in the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, USSR, with the likes of Comrades Akim Ndlovu, Ambrose Mutiniri, and Charles Chikerema in 1964. He was appointed Chief of Logistics in the 1st Military Command of ZAPU in 1965 and was instrumental in the planning and execution of the Wankis Polilo military operations. In 1971, he became a member of the Joint Military Command, which was a joint ZIPRA and ZANLA High Command formed in Mbeya, Tanzania. Vice President Chiwenga says he first met the late in 1973 in Zambia, and he sensed that he was in the presence of one of the pioneering stalwarts of the liberation struggle. In 1975, Comrade Mphoko was appointed Chief of Logistics of the Zimbabwe People's Army, ZIPA, a joint ZIPRA and ZANLA force. In 1976, he became Zimbabwe African People's Union representative in Maputo, a post he held until Zimbabwe's independence in 1980. Comrade Mphoko was part of the delegation that played a pivotal role in securing terms of Zimbabwe's independence during the 1979 Lancaster House Conference. At independence, he was appointed to the Demobilization Board for ex-combatants and later held various government positions, including ambassadorial roles. In his diplomatic career since 1987, he served with diligence as Zimbabwe's ambassador to Mozambique, Austria, Botswana, Russia, and South Africa. Due to his diligence and acumen, he was appointed Vice President of the Republic of Zimbabwe in 2014, a position that he held until 2017. He was in charge of the National Healing, Peace and Reconciliation, where he worked relentlessly to promote national peace, reconciliation and equitable development in the country. The late former Vice President was also a successful businessman and farmer, majoring in cattle ranching. Vice President Chiwenga says in the late Comrade Report Phelekezela Mphoko, the nation has lost one of the few surviving renowned commanders from the former Zimbabwe People's Revolutionary Army, ZIPRA, and indeed a resolute giant of the liberation struggle whose immense contribution to Zimbabwe's independence is a legacy too bold to be forgotten or erased.
Still on that said note, as the nation mourns former Vice President Phelekezela Mphoko, Bulawayo residents say the country has lost a national unifier.
As the nation continues to mourn the death of former Vice President Phelekezela Mphoko last Friday, some people in Bulawayo said they remember him as a dedicated servant of the people, a champion of women empowerment, and a national unifier.
Ubaba Mphoko befisa ukuthi asithuthukise njengabomama siphumelele singabi ngabantu labana abahamba becela sibe ngomama abazenzelayo.
Ubaba Mphoko maze kakhulu ngiseBotswana ngumhlalo weBotswana. Ube ngummeli wethu khona le amaZimbabweans ewathanda kakhulu.
He's a gentle giant. He was soft, but firm at the same time. Because he was very supportive of women empowerment.
Youths in Bulawayo described the former vice president as a father figure who left a legacy of national unity and peace.
Simkhumbula engumuntu akade empower ama youth, engumuntu akade emela uBulawayo jikelele. As a freedom fighter, a father, I think ukufa kwakhe kusisa ubuhlungu kakhulu.
Oba Mphoko ngathi ngiqala ukumbona ngiqalisa ukuba mazi sengu-vice president. Ngananzelela ukuthi ngubaba othanda abantu.
Ubukhokheli bakhe ngesikhathi sisebenza silaye lapha koBulawayo. I still remember ngangisasemncane laphiyana. Ngicina ukumbona, I think sasenkulumani ngale. Ube ngubaba ongakhethi umhlobo, ongakhethi ukuthi ungabe ungumuntu onjani. Wonke umuntu ubemthanda njengomntanakhe.
Thina njengama youth sifunda okukhulu kakhulu kubaba uMphoko. Usifundisa okukhulu kakhulu ukuthi lathi singama youth sikhule sithandile izwe lethu njalo sikwazi ukuzisebenzela.
Born on 11 June 1940 in Gwizane Bobi district, former Vice President Phelekezela Mphoko has been described as a stalwart of the liberation struggle whose contribution to national independence cannot be underestimated. Comrade Mphoko is survived by his wife Lorinda, 3 children and 3 grandchildren. Grace Sibanda, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
International Organization for Migration Director General Ms. Amy Pope has arrived in Zimbabwe for a 3-day working visit.
The visit by the IOM chief coincides with the International Migrants' Day, to be commemorated this Tuesday. After touching down at Robert Mugabe International Airport, she proceeded to meet with Foreign Affairs and International Trade Minister Professor Amon Murwira at his Munomotapa offices.
While I'm here for the next couple of days, the focus is really how we can work more closely with the government to address a number of issues affecting people on the move. First and foremost is how we use migration as a tool for development, whether it's engaging with the diaspora or the work of the government in its own national migration strategy, or the work within the region as SADC advances the free movement of people.
She applauded migration policies being put in place by government.
Migration is an important tool in leveraging human resource. We see it naturally all over the world. It's the story of human civilization. But we also see some really good examples here in Zimbabwe. For example, the partnership between Zimbabwe and Rwanda to provide teachers who are teaching at schools in Rwanda.
Foreign Affairs and International Trade Minister Professor Amon Murwira weighed in, saying the visit will propel the partnership between Zimbabwe, SADC, and the IOM on a positive trajectory.
We think that we can always drive this relationship positively, looking at migration as a resource when it's done in order and peacefully and for development. So the subject that is being pursued is such an important subject because migration causes development instead of it being a problem.
During her visit, the IOM chief will engage government and the civil society on migration issues. Olina Ndori, ZBC News, Harare.
The ruling ZANU-PF's party inclusive development policies continue to impact positively on the communities, with the Mutasa community benefiting from solar lights donation and huge consignments of food items sourced from the People's Republic of China. Agriculture inputs were also distributed at the event, which took place at Watsomba Business Center in Mutasa this Sunday. The details.
It was an early Christmas for the people of Mutasa, who received solar lights and an assortment of food items as well as agricultural inputs mobilized through support from the People's Republic of China in partnership with the government. The beneficiaries expressed their gratitude. The ZANU-PF National Chairperson Comrade Opamuchinguri Kashiri, who is also the Minister of Defense, says the donation from China is testimony that the Asian giant is Zimbabwe's all-weather friend.
Taitrenwa, tichipiwa chikafu, tichipiwa pekupfeka, nemayunifomu ataishandisa kuhondo aiwari emaChinese. Tikafamba rwendo rwekuti wakauya kuno wakaita mabusiness kubva kuma8 ikoko waitisusukidza wachitibatsira nematrakta wachitibatsira nechikafu wachititrendera vana vedu mascholarships wakaita basa rakakura kubva kuma1980 kusvika iko zvino tamusecond republic.
The sentiments were also echoed by the local leadership.
I want to pass my gratitude to the President, His Excellency Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa, for the great work that he's doing to the generality of Zimbabwe. His vision is being shown here clearly.
Chatagamuchira chataona chiedza chinoita kuti madzimai agone kugarawo zvakanaka.
I therefore want to heartily express Manicaland Province appreciation, guest of honor, to your esteemed office for affording this province an opportunity to benefit from solar lights inputs as well as groceries.
Meanwhile, Honorable Mchinguri Kashiri spoke on the progress made in the demining process.
Botswana's new government is determined to collaborate with Zimbabwe in the area of waste management. This came out when a delegation from Botswana toured the Geopomona Waste Management Company in Harare this Monday.
Chairman of the Government Transition Committee, who is a member of the Umbrella Democratic Party, Mr. Michael Kuakopa, says the visit is a fulfillment of President Duma Boko's election promise to diversify Botswana economy and continue on the engagements by the previous administration.
Following our manifesto promises, we've had a few invitations across the world, Zimbabwe being part of that. In particular, we're here to see what collaborations we can come up with between the two countries as far as green energy is concerned. Our briefing is that they had already made some groundwork in Botswana with the previous government. So for us, it's just to continue that legacy. Remember, there's only one government. It just happens to be a different party in power. So that's why we're here in Harare.
Geopomona Waste Management, which toured Botswana in October on a benchmarking visit, sees this as an opportunity to further enhance investment ties.
As Geopomona, we are ready to collaborate with them. We are ready to give ideas. We are ready to give solution to the government of Botswana and to support their mission in terms of waste management.
Several high-level guests continue to visit the site to learn how the Second Republic is transforming waste to energy, among other initiatives. Owen Mandova, ZBC News, Harare.
The First Lady, Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa, through her Angel of Hope Foundation this Monday, donated a consignment of Christmas groceries to children's homes and elderly homes in Bulawayo.
The mother of the nation, Dr. Mnangagwa, is passionate about improving the welfare of everyone in the country. Donated to 4 homes, which include Jairus Jiri Vocational Training Center, Pumula Jairus Jiri Hostel, Ego Pumulian Old People's Home, and SOS Children's Village. The beneficiaries had nothing but praises for the First Lady, describing her as a loving mother who is passionate about uplifting the welfare of children and the elderly.
Mama siyalithanda. And nxa lesikhumbula eziJairos Jiri eziphumula hostel abantwana bayajabula kakhulu and kumnandi nxa uvuka lawe mama uvuka ukwazi ukuthi abantu abami ngizabaphekela lokho awungeke ube le stress abantwana bahlala bejabula just because bayabe lokudla
ka tinotenda chipo chatapuwa na mama chipo icho chakatotikoshera especially pa Christmas yatawo kusvika tinozoti pa Jairus Jiri tine vamwe vana vakadhuptwa ne Jairus Jiri vasina kukuenda vanotongori vana vedu.
It's Xmas before Xmas to us. Our children are going to have fun. The donation is going to go a long way in trying to cater for the children.
Sithanda ukubonga
sengani uNkulunkulu angambusisa ngale i-kind gesture yokukhumbula abadala bethu.
Handing over the donation on behalf of the First Lady, the Minister of State for Bulawayo Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Honorable Judith Ncube, said the mother of the nation's commitment to empowering the underprivileged is unmatched.
We are so happy and we do appreciate the role that is being played by Umama in Zimbabwe. It's not only Bulawayo that is benefiting, the entire country, the entire nation does benefit from her programs.
The consignment of Christmas goodies from the First Lady comprises rice, sugar, salt, mealie meal, cooking oil, among others. Lisa Masuku, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
The Zimbabwe Broadcasting Corporation says it is determined to improve its programming with focus on the digital space as it seeks to remain relevant in the broadcasting industry.
In an interview on the sidelines of ZBC's strategic review workshop underway in Harare, the National Broadcasters Board chairperson, Ms. Hele Trushwaya, said the corporation is on a drive to improve its programming to stay relevant in the digital era.
Our deliberations this week will focus on strengthening local content production to celebrate Zimbabwe's culture and heritage, because ZBC, as a public service broadcaster, our core business is broadcasting. So content plays a very key and critical role, and ensuring that the content that we produce, the information that we disseminate and broadcast speaks to our culture and heritage as Zimbabwe.
A facilitator from the Public Service Commission, Mr. Love Mombombo, spoke on the importance of having strategic plans.
We are also going to develop the annual plan for the year 2025 for ZBC. Basically, on annual plan, we have specifically focused on what we are going to do in the following year in terms of strategies, in terms of outputs, in terms of outcomes, and other things. And also the issue of budget. And also, very importantly, we are going to come up with a monitoring plan.
The 3-day strategic meeting is being attended by the ZBC Board, Management, the Ministry of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services, the Broadcasting Authority of Zimbabwe, and Transmedia. Fungai Jaichi, ZBC News, Harare.
In our next report, the Beijing Plus 30 commemorations campaign has been launched in Harare as government and its stakeholders continue to invest in solutions to protect women and the girl child.
The 30th anniversary of the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action in March 2025 is an opportunity for the international community to identify key lessons and actionable solutions to advance the objectives of the declaration. In their solidarity remarks this Monday, various stakeholders and development partners alluded to the fact that concerted action is key in ensuring women and girls reach their full potential.
The testimonies and discussions have highlighted the intersectional nature of discrimination and the need for inclusive and holistic approaches to address them.
As we launch the 30 Plus National Commemoration Campaign, we build momentum for accelerated action needed to meet the ambitions of the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action.
The United Nations in Zimbabwe is pleased to join hands with the Ministry of Women Affairs, Community Small Medium Enterprise Development, civil society, and development partners as we take stock of one of the most comprehensive global policy frameworks and blueprints for action for the empowerment of women everywhere.
Minister of Women Affairs, Community, Small and Medium Enterprises Development, Senator Monica Mchangwa, spoke on the importance of collaborative efforts in addressing gender-based violence.
We have come a very long way, but it is always important to take stock of what we've done and see where we're failing. How can we correct as we go forward? That's where we come in, all of us. And as your minister, my job is of coordinating everybody matters in this issue.
The Beijing Plus 30 review will also mark the final 5 years of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and reflect upon its promise that every woman and girl should enjoy a life free of discrimination, exclusion and violence. Memory Chamisa, ZBC News, Harare.
Remember to check our website for more stories. That's www.zbcnews.co.zw, and also on our social media handles on X, on Facebook, on YouTube, as well as on our WhatsApp, TikTok and Instagram channels. We are at ZBC News Online.
We still have more news to come up after this break. Here's a look at what you can expect. Zimbabweans assured the 2025 national budget will immensely benefit workers and business. And our look at sport later on. Zimbabwe's Giants make history after defeating Uganda 50-49 at the African Championships in Namibia. We have those and more stories coming up after this break, so don't go far. We'll be back shortly.
Mawuya, Samngele, welcome home, where each sunrise paints a new masterpiece and every corner echoes with memories and a call to create more. We can catch up over a cup of tea, a glass of Zambezi beer, or just relax and watch sunsets together. Escape into the world and enjoy the unparalleled safari experience that is unmatched. From self-drives to guided tours, from the iconic elephants of Hwange National Park to the elusive big cats, our safaris promise unforgettable encounters. We have accommodation to cater for every budget, from camping to luxury lodges. You are spoiled for choice, from sharing self-catering properties to all-inclusive, high-end luxurious safari camps. From the tranquil waters of Lake Kariba, the largest man-made lake in the world, to the thundering Victoria Falls, Zimbabwe is a heaven for both soft and adrenaline travelers. We know you missed the Zimbabwean beef, sadzareziyo, matemba, berere, and many flavors of Zimbabwe. Our culinary journey is a celebration of diversity as we enjoy the beauty of our beloved country. Let the adventure begin. Travel and experience Zimbabwe this festive season. Zimbabwe, travel Zimbabwe.
Kuwile the EU bayikhomane ne-SADC, sustainable agricultural technology. Vanhu valava vayidonisile mhaka world conflicts mukundeliwa hi tihomu hi timhisi na tinghala. Ta swi vula ku ya hikwalaho va hi donisile mahlayiselo ya tihomu ta hina ku hi fanele aka swivala swi nga tiya leswi swi vekaka ma-electric fence. Ta swi vula hi kumile ma-opportunities ko tala ku kota ku save tihomu ta hina kumbe ku endla start ma-own programs ta hina, ma-own project ta hina ku fana ni butchery. Ya ha ri kwalaho ni khensa ngopfu hi mhaka ku village ya hina eMihlanguleni so far ya tiva ku a hi fanele ku hlupheka hina tihomu. Ka swi vula hi ne nhluvuko ndhawini ya hina. We are empowered.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. The government is pushing towards strengthening the legislative framework, policies and strategies for disaster risk reduction in the face of climate change. The details.
The world has over the years become prone to devastating natural disasters, displacing people and destroying infrastructure owing to climate change-induced challenges. This has pushed Zimbabwe to come up with legislative frameworks which are ideal towards dealing with disasters, with stakeholders converging in Harare to input towards the Disaster Risk Management Bill.
We are in the process of amending the current Civil Protection Act, Chapter 10.06, and we hope this bill, which is the one we have, which is currently responsive, will be preventive in nature.
Minister of Local Government and Public Works, Honorable Daniel Garwe, said disaster risk governance must be comprehensively strengthened.
This is a testimony that our world is becoming increasingly hazardous, and it is therefore imperative that disaster risk governance be comprehensively strengthened by updating and realigning legislative frameworks, policies, strategies, plans, and institutional arrangements that provide the foundation for risk reduction.
He added that government notes that the process must be inclusive, leaving no one and no place behind.
It is government's responsibility to provide the enabling legislative framework under which disaster risk reduction operates. As pronounced by His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa, let me also hasten to say that this process should leave no one and no place behind.
The multi-stakeholder consultations on the Disaster Risk Management Bill is attracting traditional leaders, community leaders, and legislators, among others, to come up with robust measures to curb the negative effects of the global phenomena. Bruce Chawanda, SADC News, Harare.
Time for us now to cross over to our Montrose studios in Bulawayo, where we join Sibukele Maposabuke. It's a good evening to you.
Thank you very much, Justin. Good evening, Zimbabwe. We carry on with the news. 7 people died while 22 others were injured yesterday when a bus rammed into a stationary haulage truck near Dabuga train station outside the city of Gweru. The Zimbabwe Public Police confirmed the road traffic accident which occurred along the Harare-Bulawayo Road. The bodies of the victims were taken to Gweru Provincial Hospital mortuary while the injured were admitted at the same hospital. The Ministry of Health and Childcare has set ambitious targets and objectives for 2025, focusing on expanding access to high-quality healthcare and services nationwide.
The Minister of Health and Childcare is conducting its annual review and planning meeting in Bulawayo to address challenges and improve the overall health and well-being of the nation's population. Central to the Ministry's 2025 agenda is a commitment to expanding healthcare access for all Zimbabweans.
Going forward, we are saying, let's look at our health workforce. We have done a health workforce strategy, and we've signed an investment compact. And in that, we are trying to increase our health workforce, increase training, but at the same time be able to retain those we train. We want to strengthen resources which are raised domestically. So working together with the Minister of Finance, want to see if we are able to utilize even the meager resources that we get.
On the provision of medicines and commodities, the Minister said the priority is to capacitate NATFAM.
We have moved up a bit from about 44% to 49%. It's not a huge jump, but we want to improve supplies in our healthcare facilities. It means we have to work together with the National Pharmaceutical, which we call NATFAM, and also assist NATFAM to be able to provide the medicines that are required in our health services.
Infrastructure development is also a vital component of the Ministry's 2025 goal.
We have said, let's make sure that the current infrastructure is repaired and maintained in a good condition. We are also looking at our equipment, where we are replacing. Also, we've done very well. In the past year, we've replaced about 30 X-ray machines. We need to put 24 more to make sure that all our district hospitals have got digital X-rays.
The Ministry's goals align with Zimbabwe's National Development Strategy 1 and the Sustainable Development Goals, recognizing healthcare's crucial role in promoting economic growth, social development, and overall well-being. Kilant Moy, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
The Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa, COMESA, is finalizing a framework for regional cooperation and ICT development. The initiative kicked off in Victoria Falls this Monday, with Zimbabwe sharing its achievements in mobile internet penetration alongside robust ICT legislation.
COMESA region is making strides to formulate a regionally coordinated public and private sector ICT policy development, which Zimbabwe is already embracing through widening mobile and internet penetration as well as on the legislative side.
According to the statistics that we have finalized for the second quarter, we always run a quarter behind. Our mobile penetration rate now stands at 96.7%. whilst our internet penetration rate is at 78.55%, and also broadband penetration stands at 76.37%. What we are doing, the governance and the enabling environment, will look after all the sectors, the digital development in all the sectors.
COMESA underscored the importance of ICTs in enhancing regional integration.
COMESA considers ICT as one of its priority sectors in enabling development and overall regional integration. Therefore, COMESA ensures that initiatives such as the EGEE ICT program are given utmost attention to succeed.
The two-day workshop is bringing together representatives from various COMESA member states including Zimbabwe, Zambia, South Sudan, Uganda, Libya and Kenya. Tichaona Kurewa, ZBC News, Victoria Falls. COMESA
The government is pleased with the achievements of the harvest attained in the 2023-2024 winter wheat season that resulted in a total yield of almost 570,000 metric tons. Let's hear more.
While basking in the glory of a good winter wheat season that saw a record 563,961 metric tons of wheat produced nationally, what has also been pleasing is the increase in yield per ton per hectare. According to the Ministry of Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Rural Development, the figures show that improved agriculture practices in Matabeleland North and South have resulted in better yields as compared to last year.
In terms of yield, there was a slight increase in yield, because last year the yield was around 2.9 tons per hectare, and this year it has increased to 3.1 tons per hectare. So that's what we are also encouraging, that we really need to improve in terms of our yield so that we've got more wheat. So quite interesting, even in the provinces like the Matabeleland, which were also heavily affected by the El Nino-induced drought, we still managed to produce quite some good yields in terms of wheat during the 2024 season.
Increased investment in irrigation infrastructure, capacity building and input support from government has also positively impacted on the growth of the agricultural sector. Mhlomuli Ncube, ZBC News, Wange.
And that'll be all from the Montrose News Desk. I am Sibiela Maposa. Now circling back to Pocketshill, where Justin and Vicky will take us through the rest of the bulletin. Good evening.
Many thanks there, Sibukele and the team at our Montrose studios, and welcome back to our Pocketshill studios in Harare. Government says it is spearheading various youth empowerment programs across the country that include the establishment and refurbishment of vocational training centers.
Government's thrust to equip young people with essential skills for the job market has seen a number of youth empowerment projects and training programs being undertaken in all the country's provinces. Speaking during an announcement of a new board for the Zimbabwe Youth Council, Youth Empowerment, Development and Vocational Training Minister Honorable Tinoma Chakaire said the programs are a direct response to the urgent need for capacity building among the youth dividend. Some vocational training centers will undergo refurbishment to enhance their facilities and expand their training programs.
There are a lot of programs and activities that are happening within the ministry. For instance, VTCs, we've started refurbishing VTCs. We've started a lot of programs, empowerment projects. We are all aware that His Excellency, his mantra is to make sure that no place must be left behind. And we also want to appreciate him coming up with the solutions to empower our youth. At Nakiwa, he launched the youth service in Zimbabwe, whereby we saw youth being recruited for youth service in Zimbabwe training, and some of them, they graduated last week, and some of them, they've already been employed.
The new board, which will be chaired by Rutendo Mugwagwa, is tasked with ensuring implementation of the ministry's mandate, in particular, promotion of youth participation activities and economic empowerment. John Nandara, ZPC News, Harare.
The Environmental Management Agency in Mashonaland Central Province has embarked on a widespread awareness campaign in order to reclaim open pits and curb accidents, as well as protect the environment during the rainy season.
A cross-section of miners in Mashonaland Central have responded to calls by the Environmental Management Agency EMA to reclaim land in order to mitigate degradation during the rainy season. At Xiaono Pamutonda Mining Company, a solar plant is being erected to provide a power supply on a reclaimed open pit.
Takaona zvakakodzera kuti tibatsirane nehurumende mukuita urongwa hwekuchengetedza nharaunda dzatinoshandira dze-ecosystem inoratidza kuti patenda tashandira tinokwanisa kuvhara makomba. As you see, kuti togona kuisa masolar plant atakuisa tichishandisa energy yezuva.
Mondo 3 Mine Executive Director Mr. Bright Maunga outlined tree planting initiatives being undertaken.
Kwatinenge tashanda kwese mukaona mamafamba mese mutichitenderera tinovhara makomba tovhura kwatinenge tichida kushanda tichigadzirisa iye zvinozi tatarisana nezhizha tinotodyara miti mukaona tine magum trees nemiti mamwe ma-indigenous trees tinodyara futi kuti environment yedu ichengetedzeke kana uswa tinodyara zvekare.
EMA Mashonaland Central Environment and Publicity Officer Mr. Maxwell Mpotsa urged all registered miners to prioritize progressive rehabilitation.
We are already in the rainy season. We are encouraging our small-scale, large-scale miners to ensure that they do progressive rehabilitation at all reef mines. Part of the conditions of the AIS certificate entails that as part of their quarterly reports, they submit the area that they would have rehabilitated at their mines.
Safe and sustainable mining practices are a key pillar of government's mining sector growth targets by the year 2030. Tapiwa Machemedze, ZBC News, Mazowe.
We break for business. Stay with us.
Christmas is coming to town. Dashing through the aisles, specials all around. Wow. Children all in smiles when they hear the sound. No one can resist, no need for shopping lists. There is so much goodness here, you'd be silly to miss. Jingle bell, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to shop.
Applications are invited for an apprenticeship training program with the Zimbabwe Broadcasting Corporation in the Engineering Broadcasting Technology Department commencing January 2025. Applicable trade, electrical engineering, communication systems. Ideal candidates should satisfy the following minimum requirements and submit a minimum of 5 O-level subjects, including mathematics, English language and science with grade C or better. At least 2 A-level passes will be an added advantage. Clearance letter from the Apprenticeship and Skilled Manpower Board. Preference will be given to applicants with higher educational qualifications. Certified copies of national ID, birth certificate and educational certificates. Be aged between 16 and 23 years by the 31st of December 2024. Applicants are invited to visit the corporation's website www.zbc.co.zw to apply or email applications to students@zbc.co.zw. Closing date is 10 December 2024. Welcome back. Time now for business news. Treasury is confident that the 276 billion ZiG national budget announced last month will benefit workers and business, in addition to creating a resilient economy. The Confederation of Zimbabwe Industries this Monday held a post-mortem of the budget. Details from Owen Mandova.
Several business leaders and captains of industry made presentations to the Minister of Finance, Economic Development and Investment Promotion, Professor Mphoko, in response to various policy measures introduced in the 2025 national budget. The Confederation of Zimbabwe Industries senior economist Dr. Cornelius Dube made a presentation on how businesses are being regulated.
Treasury only collects a residual. In other words, if a company makes a profit, then Treasury collects corporate tax. But unfortunately, regulatory authorities, they just collect even if the companies are making losses. So in other words, the challenge that we are now having is that we have regulatory authorities collectively collecting more compared to Treasury. That is also an issue which the OPC has already taken note of, and the work is already undergoing right now through ZIDA to try and identify some of the costs that can actually be mainstreamed and reduced. In fact, under the Ministry of Industry and Commerce, they've prioritized regulatory impact assessment, where a cost-benefit analysis is going to be undertaken.
However, Professor Mphoko said the budget entrenches a resilient economy that provides hope to workers and businesses.
The budget is meant to balance the economy, to build the resilience that the economy needs to survive the shocks. So you talk about which areas. If you look at the agricultural sector, for example, we have almost 11% of the budget having been targeted, earmarked for that sector to ensure that there's food security. So our citizens who are living off the Phelekezela into a program, for example, should expect maximum support. And this is also further supplanted by the bore drilling program and also investment in irrigation to build that resilience. So that's what the budget is trying to achieve. If you look at industry, for example, we want to grow new industries and rebalance the economy. So we've set up, I've proposed that we set up some kind of development fund, which originally was sitting with IDC, but now will be housed between the Ministry of Finance and Industry and Commerce.
The 276 billion ZiG budget is premised on a strong agricultural and mining sector growth, which is expected to spur an economic growth rate of 6% next year. Owen Mandova, ZBC News, Harare.
That report from Owen taking us straight into the look at the arts. Zimbabwe continues to make a mark in the pageantry circles, with the latest being Amanda Peresu-Moyo, who is in high spirits after bagging the continental title at the Miss Intercontinental pageant held recently in Egypt. Let's get the details.
The ravishing beauty Amanda Peresu-Moyo is among the top 6 winners at the contest, where more than 50 beauty queens from around the globe participated. Peresu could not hide her joy after she was crowned Miss Intercontinental Africa, a title which was last won by Tendai Honda in 2015. The star, an industrial and manufacturing engineering student, is not new in the pageantry stage after being the Miss Teen Ecotourism World 2022 crown, and has high hopes for more successful ventures in a career.
I am beyond excited and honored to have carried the Zimbabwean name and brought back the African title. This wouldn't have been possible without your support, Zimbabwe, so thank you.
Puerto Rico's Maria Cipero was the overall winner and was crowned a Miss Intercontinental. Patience Nyagato, SABC News, Harare.
Indeed, congratulations to our very own Amanda there. We are now taking a break, and Larry is right by my side here, ready to give you sport after this break, so do stay tuned.
Get your business ready for the festive season with ZBC. Join us for the ZBC Mega festive business promotion running from the 1st of November of 2024 all the way to January 31 of 2025. Enjoy an incredible cash discount of over 50% across all ZBC platforms. This is your opportunity to make your business shine. So celebrate with ZBC and watch your business thrive by simply booking your spot right now. For more information, call Tandeka on 0719 594 426 or Martha on 0719 593 532 or Precious on 0719 593 510 or email tandeka.mubi@zbc.co.zw. Terms and conditions apply.
Good evening once again, and thank you so much for joining us on Sports News as we get to give you what has been happening through the day. My name is Lawrence Trusida. We start off with great news coming through from Namibia, where the senior netball team, the Gems, made a stunning start to their 2024 Africa Netball Cup campaign after edging Giants Uganda 50-49 in a nail-biting encounter played in Swankomanda.
In a match that saw the lead change hands several times, the Gems showed remarkable determination and resilience to emerge victorious. Trailing 14-12 in the first quarter, Zimbabwe took the lead in the second quarter, albeit by a slender 1-point margin, going to the halftime recess at 25-24. The She-Cranes of Uganda, however, regained the lead in the third quarter, taking the 7-point advantage heading into the final quarter. The Gems were not to be denied as they staged a remarkable comeback to win the match 50-49 and record their first victory over Uganda for the first time in a decade. The victory is a boost for the Gems, who are seeking to improve on their bronze medal finish at the last edition held in Botswana. The team has been working tirelessly to perfect its strategy and technique. The Gems are back on the court this Tuesday when they take on Lesotho at the Swakopmund Community Court. The 2024 Africa Netball Cup features 9 teams battling for honours, with the top 2 teams from 2 pools progressing to the semi-finals. Anna Shemrombedzi, ZBC News, Harare.
A great start there for the Gems, and certainly hope that they'll continue with the good form going into tomorrow's match against Lesotho. Moving on to cricket, left-handers Ben Curran and Newman Nyamuri have been rewarded for their good form after receiving a collapse to the senior national cricket squad set to face Afghanistan in a white ball series starting on Wednesday.
Zimbabwe and Afghanistan are set to face off in 3 T20s, 3 ODIs, and a once-off test match beginning this Wednesday and running till January, all at Harare Sports Club. 28-year-old Ben Curran, a son of former Zimbabwe international and coach, the late Kevin Curran, and also the brother to England internationals Tom and Sam Curran, earned his place following stellar performances in the domestic setup. Left-arm pace bowler Newman Nyamuri, who has been one of the country's standout young talents, impressing earlier this year at the ICC Under-19 Men's Cricket World Cup in South Africa, has also been called up. Both Curran and Nyamuri have been named in the ODI squad, which also welcomes back pace bowler Victor Nyauchi. They replace Farah Zekram, Brendan Mavuta and Clive Madande, who is recovering from a dislocated shoulder. The rest of the squad from Zimbabwe's recent ODI series against Pakistan remains unchanged. In the only changes to the T20 squad, Nyamuri comes in alongside opening batter Takudzwa Nashe Kaitano, who is in line to make his debut in the shortest format. The T20 internationals start this Wednesday, with the remaining 2 matches set for Friday and Sunday, all at Harare Sports Club. Meanwhile, Afghanistan arrived in the country on Saturday.
Moving on to chess now, the curtain came down in the 3rd edition of the CAB's candidate chess tournament in Bulawayo this Sunday, exposing idle talent lying around the country.
The third edition of the annual CABS Candidates Tourney had 3 winners: Taylor Makwiranzo in the prestige section, Ropafazo Dube walking away as the ladies champion, and Tanaka Katsande crowned as the champion in the open section. Out of Harare for the first time, the tournament continues to grow as non-rated players showcase their talents.
I feel very happy and very overwhelmed. Don't focus on your losses. You must focus on the things that you did well and the fact that you kept on coming even if you lost.
And the feeling is unreal. I don't know yet how to process it. I'm very happy.
I'm actually feeling great. It was a complicated tournament. It was hard, but all thanks to the hard work and the efforts I had to put in the game. It's not easy to win a tournament featuring about everyone in the whole country. Approximately 150 participants in the open section, excluding the ladies and the prestige, but eventually hard work pays off.
More than 150 players turned up for the tournament, showing how much the sport is growing.
Yes, officially, CABS candidate has been a success, and everything went well. There had some pressures here and there as usual, but we managed to take it through. The prizes came in and the players came in on board.
The annual tournament enables players to be rated by the World Chess Federation FIDE. Mphoko Dube, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
Moving on to football news now. Newly promoted Division 1 side, Gwanda Pirates, are hoping to emulate the feat of Zimbabwe and Scotland FC that had just one season in the Division 1 before gaining promotion to the Premier Soccer League.
Barely 9 months after its formation, the Zimbabwe-inspired Gwanda Pirates qualified into Central Division 1 after winning the Provincial 2nd Division. The fans who thronged the prison grounds this Sunday to witness their team being crowned Division 2 champions are convinced that the team has the pedigree to emulate Scotland FC, who stormed into the Premier League in their maiden seasons.
Pirates is proving that it's not even going to stop here. We are going right to Premier League.
2026, so Premier League. Both Highlanders and Dynamos, Gwanda Pirates is coming.
This is the pride of Gwanda. The team lay Nyamacha Honda.
Yes.
Wonke umuntu is rallying behind this team.
I press Pirates yadla.
Gwanda Pirates, which joins ZRP Gwanda, West Nicholson and Blanket Minor in the Central Region Division 1 League, believes that with the right support and commitment, they are poised for greater heights.
We are happy to have qualified for Division 1 next year. And what we are promising abantu ukuthi sayenza konke okusamandleni ethu to bring the Premier League here in Gwanda. Sibona abantu abanengi besiba le talent, but liphelela khona lapho ku Division 2, Division abanye Social League. But we want to promote ukuthi sibahambise kwenye level D1 Premier League. We believe ukuthi here in Gwanda there is talent, there is vast talent.
Mateolele South has failed to produce a Premier Soccer League team since the days of Underhill and Border Strikers, with Vumba Chikwe being the closest to promotion after bottling on the last match in 2021-2022 season. Providence Maranelli, ZBC News, Gwanda.
The beautiful game there just being showcased in Gwanda. And on that Gwanda Pirates news, it's now time for the weather.
Good evening, Zimbabwe, and welcome to tonight's weather report and forecast. Hope I find you well. We had a bit of rain showers over the northern parts, with Rushinga recording about 42 millimeters, Mutare 29, Mvuru 22, and both Chibero and Marandera at 19. That's some of the falls that were falling as of yesterday. Today, we had most of the moisture over the western parts of the country, covering Mashonaland West into northern parts of Midlands area. And this was because of the brief cloudy periods that were over the northern parts of the country because of remnant pockets of moisture. But however, it's clearing off from the south because of a southeasterly wind which was drying out much of the atmosphere. We were expecting that moisture to drift out of the country into parts of Harare metropolitan and also to the western parts. We're still expecting this cloud band to still affect those western parts of the country as we get into the later parts of this week. We're expecting moisture to drift into the interior, causing a few isolated showers as we get into the weekend. That's the green color that you see there in that map there. But for much of tomorrow, we're expecting more of the clearance occurring, leading to rather warm to hot conditions across much of the country. And as such, for Bulawayo, we're expecting temperatures to slightly increase and then fall as we get into the weekend. Same for Matopo, we're expecting a slight rise, and Gwanda as well, where we're expecting it to be cooler towards the weekend with cloudy conditions emanating from the west. For Lupane, we're expecting a bit of remnant moisture here and there. Same for Victoria Falls, with isolated showers cannot be ruled out. Moisture returns to Gweru as we get into Friday and the weekend. We're expecting cooler conditions. Same for Kwekwe, we're expecting moisture and a fall of temperatures as we get into Sunday. For Kadoma, also moisture returns on Sunday, but for much of this week, it's under sunny conditions. Same for Chinoi, with a bit of moisture into the weekend. Arayo also under the same influence with a bit of moisture into the weekend. Same for Karibo, with isolated showers not being ruled out into the weekend. For Masvingo, also that system from the west also affects Masvingo later parts of this week. Same for Bindura, from Friday into the weekend, we expect a bit of more moisture. Marandera also cannot be ruled out with showery weather into the weekend, whilst Nyanga is also projected to have the same. So we urge you to keep hydrated for much of this week, with chance of isolated thunder showers as we get into the weekend. With that, it's back to the news desk.
And that is the way of the weather, courtesy of the Met Department. And of course, many thanks to Lawrence for giving us a look at sport. That's where we leave it for tonight. We're back again tomorrow, Jassy, aren't we?
Tomorrow it is, Vicky, and have a good night.
Good night.
Today on Inside Business, we're focusing on exports credit guarantee, wanting to get a better understanding in terms of what this is about, particularly in view of promotion or facilitation of Zimbabwe's exports, among many other key economic drivers. Hello viewers, you're tuned in to Inside Business. Inside Business, a program that we get to dissect various policy and non-policy developments that are unfolding within the domestic market, as well as casting our net wide in terms of various developments that are taking place in various sectors and subsectors of the domestic economy, looking in terms of mining, agriculture, tourism, manufacturing, among many other key strategic sectors of the economy. Tonight on Inside Business, my guest is Mr. Andrew Mphoko, who is the Operations Director for the Export Credit Guarantee Corporation of Zimbabwe, and we are going to be discussing all things export, as well as the credit insurance, and also looking in terms of construction bonds that are being issued in the domestic market. Mr. Mphoko, thank you for joining us on Inside Business.
Okay. Thank you, Takuzo, and good evening to viewers.
All right, Mr. Mphoko, just to start off our conversation, I know some of the viewers might not be familiar with the existence of the Export Credit Guarantee Corporation of Zimbabwe. Can you explain to us in terms of your core activities as the Export Credit Guarantee